Rana, welcome back on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It's so fun to see you.
Congratulations, you got married in 2020.
Sir, yes, thank you.
Amongst the very few people who got married, I'm sure in 2020, you are amongst those.
Yes.
So hopefully you've been having a happy year because most of the people they are not really having a good time.
Well, I think that's who I am. Whatever the time is, I just make sure we figure out the best of it and keep going, right? And that's the only real way to be. So I guess
Right.
so. Yeah, I think to me it's terrible what's been happening and how where the world is in terms of what we need to do. But I think it'll still open up newer opportunities. There are a lot of newer avenues that have opened, and I think just keeping the mind occupied is a better thing than to keep worrying.
Right. Okay. Now you've started this YouTube channel, South
Mhm.
Bay. We'll come to that shortly, but it has been a very diverse year in a way because on one hand the OTT platforms they're doing such amazing business at the same time, like they're redefining how content consumption and entertainment consumption is going to be happening not only in India but all across the world, but I think in India more so because the consumers are huge. The number of consumers they are huge, but at the same time, for the cinema halls, we keep on hearing this statement within the industry that if you want to revive the film industry, you need a Bahubali to come in the theater.
Well, of course. I mean, see what I guess it's beautiful that Bahubali has become a word which is synonymous to anything that's big or scale or something that the whole country comes together for, right? So I think over years it's become an event, and it's an event that we won't forget for as long as we're around and cinema kind of exists. So one is, I think, what they really mean is. That you need scale and scale coming back to the movies. And I think in each, I can't say much for what's happening in the other industries, but whether it's in Telugu and Tamil, there have been a lot of films of great scale that are being mounted for the coming years. And I think what this year has seen, or what we have to take out of this year, really is that our aptitude to watch content has increased 10 folds or 100 folds, depends on
Absolutely.
who the individual is. So we all, and there's always a need for more, right? And that's become a habit, and that habit is not going away for forever. But I think what it'll define the years coming forward for filmmakers and for creators really is, okay, now you have a big screen to tell a big spectacle movie. You can tell cinema at grand scales. You can create almost a event type of feeling within an auditorium. I think that's what the cinemas will become. OTT has given way to just give characters that will last with you for maybe a decade or something if the show is done right. Uh, then you have short content with the bursts of the internet, whether it's YouTube, whether it's IGTV, whether it's anything to play in short form, right? I think we're just snacking on all kinds of content and able to binge watch at the same time. So I think the if you define this as a industrial revolution, which is definitely it is, I think content kind of took front seat for the first time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One more instance when Bahubali comes into the picture as a yardstick. I'll just give you one more instance that I've experienced in the recent times. So Mirzapur season 2 was coming,
Hmm.
and so I spoke to a lot of the cast members, and so many of them they mentioned that people were waiting for it the way they were waiting for Bahubali 2. That's what we were told for Mirzapur season 2, and all those elements of Katappa and various other terminologies they were utilizing, and even the memes were being made on the similar lines. So the way Bahubali has become this yardstick for mega success, uh, uh, does it at times make you feel a bit tense as well? Because this is such a big yardstick to
No,
really.
yeah, not at all. For us,
Nanda?
it's like it feels like, listen, you're the only graduate from this top university, right? And nobody else is from there. So it just feels like you just know immensely. You've learned so much more, and you have a need or a want to consistently create something new at all times, right? And I think that's really what it's given us. It's given us a license to do and tell stories across countries, across the globe, wherever we want, in whatever form we want. I think I'll always take that as a huge blessing, and it's like, here you go, guys. I've graduated from here, and now I can do what I want.
All right, now talking about South Bay, and
Uh,
what was this idea behind coming up with this YouTube channel?
So, starting with South Bay first, I think it really is a culture company that we've started building out, and content, because that's something that we understand at a very quick level, was the first direction we took to it. Now, like I think, like we spoke earlier, the consumption of content of all of us has increased tenfolds or hundredfolds, depends on the individual. I think mine has to, in this pandemic and this lockdown, right? Now, when you, it's different for a creator when you start viewing so much content and you say, okay, now there's so much of culture in India, but it's not captured in the way we should for India and for the globe. And there was nothing that was really addressing a generation that's coming. It's and I think with so much content, curation becomes top key in terms of where you are. And so we said, here you go. This is, and we started producing culture-based content. So we started working with a bunch of different talent. Myself being one. There's Shruti Hassan. There's Lakshmi Manchu. There's all of them who've picked up different pieces of culture that is comfortable to them and that hasn't been built before. Like in India, if you always see, there was a subculture and there was a mainstream, that were two different things. You're either an independent musician or you're a mainstream film music director, right? They're two very different spaces. But I said, let's find a space where we can marry both of them. Uh, so I took animation as the first ledge forward, and now, I always grew up on shows which were very random American fun shows that were irreverent, whether it's South Park, whether it's BoJack Horseman now, whether it's all of these fun shows that the West makes. But in India, there's a lot of audience that consumes it, but there's not anything that is Indian in relevance to that. So I think Why Are
Yeah.
You was my answer to that, saying, here you go, let's build out, be the first to build out that animation talk show, which is for a slightly young adult to adult audience, as opposed to, this is not children's animation. There's a whole green field out there for people to make content. So I think that's step one there. The second thing was today news is such a big culture, right? I mean, the only thing that all of us watched like live, I think, was news pretty much in this whole pandemic. And but if you take somebody from a younger generation, right, there's nothing really that the news offers, whether it's opportunity, whether it's job, whether it's uh, subscribing to a lifestyle. It doesn't really do that. It's today it's more politically driven, it's debate, it's all of those, and a lot of young people don't even understand most of those concepts. uh, so we started working with a team called Under 25 based out of Bangalore, which was with Anto. Now he so started curating Under 25 news of everything that's happening in the digital world. What's happening with Among Us, what's happening with PUBG, what's online gaming. Uh, so just being curators in the digital world for the millennials is what we started working with. Then we started building out musicians. Now there was a generation probably both of us were from, which was a MTV-ish generation, right? That told us what was cool, and there was. Now that changed when MTV turned completely Hindi. It kind of lost out with the other states who were creating a lot of independent pop culture and pop bands, where whether it's pop bands out of Bangalore, out of Chennai, out of Bombay itself, that were non-Hindi, which were English more in that direction. So I think there's a space for all of that, and that's really the global Indian voice speaking. So I said, let's. So this platform was really for that. I said, let's start bringing all cultures together. So we started with festive drops to understand and get feedback in the best possible format. So we did a Diwali drop. I'm doing a Christmas drop, and there will also be a Sankranti drop that's there for the next 3 months. And then we'll start programming the entire Sunday, like how proper olden days curated Sunday was, when you started in the morning at 11 a.m., you'll end with 11 p.m. And that's really where the direction of South Bay is heading in terms of content.
All right. So I watched a promo of Why Are You,
So
and there's animation, and what I felt was that maybe it's a spoof on all the irritating questions that have been asked to you by journalists over the years.
see, that's the best thing. No, it's relevant to everybody in the way they want to take it. So I just
Right,
made the
it's
show.
funny.
See, yeah, and I think, what I really felt is what the world needs in some way was humor. I think it's time we all start
Absolutely,
making fun of ourselves and say, here you go. And
absolutely.
see, today, if you see where the West is in terms of their culture, they speak news through comedy, right? And that's the
Yeah.
fastest. Comedy is really the fastest way you communicate to people in any format. So I think we should start less serious, taking these things less seriously, and life itself in that sense. And what I was then that was really the thought behind it, yeah. And then I said, who else better than Ramu to be the first super guest on that show?
What are your views on Ramgopal Verma? He seems to be quite comfortable with you. He, you can feel when Ramu sir is comfortable by the laughter and the fact that uh, you just get a
Well,
feeling.
well,
And
sometimes
he's
when
not
it,
comfortable with everyone. He's not comfortable with everyone.
I'll tell you something that I've learned from Ramu itself. This is he's taught me this, so I can say this. So every time a director makes a really bad film with you, you can say whatever you want to him. And Ramu's done that with me, so I have that license. So when my career was going extremely well, when I had two successful films in Hindi and in Telugu, then he took a year of mine and then just crashed me down to start walking back up again, right? So I have all license to say what I want to him. And but that's really been our relationship. I mean, we spent almost a whole year making Department. uh, and I see, though the film didn't work, I think, see, two big highlights of my life that happened there was I met Mr. Bachchan for the first time, or got to act with Mr. Bachchan for the first time in my life. I got to meet Sanjay Dutt for the first time in my life and shared screen space with them. That was fun. And I think just the idea of working with Ramu, just being part of that brain for some time, I think was extremely interesting.
What are your views on Ramgopal Verma's sense of humor? I think it gets better with the day.
Like, see, I'll tell you what the fun part of doing this show was. I said, see, let me not have an agenda to it. Let me just go. It's about that person in a way where nobody's ever asked that person those things, which are so basic and simple. Uh, and uh, and that's, and to me, that there's no better guest than him. Yeah, like, perfect first guy to go with.
Okay, so are you looking at this opportunity for actually starting a proper OTT platform at some stage?
Well, see, one is you never understand where the direction of content is going next year or the year after, right? See, technology is changing now. There were for like subscribers are getting all of the OTTs with one subscription only. You start changing the models of how things work in terms of how we view content. So one is, it's still too early to see where we want to head in that direction, but why YouTube, IGTV as our first directions was because that's where everyone is, and we thought that's the best place to kind of test, understand, analyze content. And for me, what really was fun was on the Sunday episode, I could sit with the audience and watch it like I would in a movie theater, right? And I don't think that experience you'd ever get in any ways for a creator.
Okay, now you said that you tend to binge watch a lot. You've been watching a lot of shows. What are the shows that you're watching?
What are the
What are the shows that you watched in lockdown?
Well, one is I did a lot of reruns, I realized, of things that I liked, which I maybe watched a long time ago, and then I watched back again. Uh, so there was a lot of South Park that I watched, obviously, which was shows that was fun. Then I got back to watching the first season of Narcos again because I
Okay.
think I think that was pretty much the first show I liked, so I went back to watching that. But in the newer shows, Queen's Gambit is something that I recently watched and I liked. Then I've been watching a lot of miniseries. So I think Spy was something that I liked recently. But my
Spy, yeah.
recent super favorite is Surariputra, which is Surya's film. I think it's such a classic, which was I think which touched everybody, Telugu, Tamil, everybody who's watched that film.
Mm. Yeah, and interestingly, I think Indian content is, I think, really coming into its own. Scam, I think the way
Yeah,
it is
Scam,
setting
yes,
a
of course.
benchmark.
That was
Uh,
one, yes.
yeah, then Patan Lok has done really well. Mirzapur
Mm.
has been phenomenal as well. At the same time, interestingly, so See You Soon, that's a Malayalam film
Mm.
that I think has been made during the lockdown, and it's having a very interesting format of the mobile phones, the way it
Right.
has been. And fantastic storyline and execution. So it's a very interesting phase for I think Indian platforms as well and Indian content as well. How do you look at it, and what are the sort of shows that are being made in South languages that you'd like to share with us? Very interesting
Well,
that you find interesting.
I think now all of us are experimenting with the format that the fact that we have so many formats now to make tell stories in,
Mm.
uh, and I think a lot of like when your statement that you just said, right? I think Indian film is coming of age in terms of making their own content. So I think India is so diverse that you can't. It's like Indian food. You can't. There's nothing called Indian food because there's so much variety. There's
Mm.
not one single definition of it. So I think it's the same with film. I think we have so many industries, so many cultures that can be defined by these industries. And I think today with these multiple platforms, we just have a greater opportunity to tell them well. Is what I feel. And here everyone is tapping back into what their roots are, what their culture is, and today you are free with it's language agnostic. Uh, it's time agnostic. You can make something in 5 minutes or 5 hours, doesn't really matter, or 5 days in terms of you can hold the audience. So I think the freedom is just suddenly is kind of set in, and I think this lockdown has given time for many people to sit, write, review many more times than what they normally do. So one is I feel as soon as things open up, you'll just see a splash of like really great content from different parts of India.
No, no, absolutely. So I was watching one of your interviews on YouTube that has become, I think, very famous as well. It has gone viral in many ways. Certain clips have gone viral as well in
Hmm?
that because it's so strange that the way things are segregated in South India and North India, that when we are in North India, we have certain perceptions about South and South India. So I think you mentioned about the diverse part of it. Diverse, that is the word. So I think India is all about diversity and the fact that you're respectful of all the cultures, and you
Right.
I think it's a golden opportunity to learn about new cultures and new languages and new industries.
Correct.
Um, do you feel this entire north-south divide is in a way lessening now because of OTT?
100%. I think
It's high time.
it first started with the digital world, right? Once when things on social media started getting popular, then then YouTube started giving so much content that was available. Then after that, the OTTs came in. So I think as digitally we start getting connected, we'll start understanding this more and more. We get to Otherwise it was very hard in a theatrical system to do it, right, to connect films or to connect any culture in that format. But today I think the digital world or the OTT just connects us in a far better way than we ever were.
What do you think is the strong point of, say, for example, Telugu industry, um, specifically because it is making some phenomenal films, especially in terms of the scale. Um, in terms of writing, what exactly do you think that the Malayalam, Telugu, and Tamil industry is doing right in terms of writing?
See, one is again, all of them are very diverse in terms of what
Yeah,
they
it
do.
is. Yeah, yeah.
Very diverse in terms of what they do. So we can detail out in that fashion, but where I think Malayalam works with great slice of life filmmakers, that's been predominantly what's been the forefront of making cinema there. Uh, Telugu has always been the big classic wins where you want to celebrate your movies, you want to celebrate your stars in that format.
Yeah.
So I think each one comes usually had that format before. Today, all of that stereotype is kind of breaking. You see all films being watched, made, remade, or adapted, or that kind of cinema being made across all of the industries. So I think that diversion is kind of come. It doesn't. It's not like this industry just makes these films anymore. Each of them have opened up into completely different scales now.
Okay, now on one side, we are witnessing, I think, a fantastic time for content.
Mm.
But at the same time, we are also noticing that the film industry, be it Bollywood or other industries, they are under a constant scanner. They are being made to prove their loyalty and the fact that they are doing good stuff. We've seen that with Bollywood in the last 4 5 months. I recently read about Mr. Rajamouli, the way he was threatened with regards to his latest film. How do you look at these sort of incidents happening and the
See,
way?
See, one is I just feel like there's very little going on in the country, so there's so much attention given to stuff that's not of any importance or relevance. Uh, First to start with, and I think once things go back to normal, everybody will really have a full busy life to attend. So, and I think, and yeah, I mean, it's an evolving country. Everybody has a different point of view and opinion. And everything doesn't have to be in a direction of how the press takes it. Right now, there's a legal format of things work. But there is a news which has no regulation. I think what really needs new regulation is not films and OTT, is news and anything that's being broadcasted as information. Right, that needs regulation.
Right.
See, nobody talks about that regulation. Everybody gets on this, right? So I think just because I think whatever news and informative bodies have is a far greater responsibility than filmmakers have. Because when you're calling yourself information and broadcasting, so it just gives you it's taken much more seriously, right?
When you read the reports of death threats being issued to directors or actors, and the serious sort of allegations which are
Well,
leveled
sir,
against.
it's a country with 1 billion people. You'll have some crazy people in 1 billion, so it's okay. So the majority still is a greater part, no? And you can be pulled down by doing what your job is. See, if these things bother you, you got to be with them. Then you're not who you are. So I think it's time you stick to what you're doing. And see, it's not, and everything is not answerable to press. That's something that I think everybody should understand, including the press.
Mm.
You're
All right.
addressable to court of law, not press and media.
Right.
And yeah, again, coming back, I think that needs uh, in some format regulations.
Rapid fire with Rana Daggubati. Why your talk show is called Dunia Ka Sabse Irrelevant Show?
See, because it is really irrelevant in terms of how it is, but it's deep for the ones who want to get it. That's what irreverent really means. It'll hit you in parts.
Okay, what is the most irrelevant question asked to you in an interview that pissed you off?
Uh, oh, lots of them. Yeah, how to start? Can I do
One
like
that has
10?
become famous is that when you said that it's a dumb thing to feel that South filmmakers they make.
No, I mean, see, like one is, yeah. Every time somebody asks me a question about how is a film made differently in the South, like the process of it is the same. I mean, it's not going to change
Yeah.
that much, as much as you're making your culture, we're making our culture, and that's about it. So yeah, and yeah, and I think I was also pretty amazed with the fact that everybody knows very little about what's happening in your neighboring state, what's happening in the
Absolutely.
next city or whatever. So that kind of amazes me. Any question from that direction amazes me.
What is something controversial that Ram Gopal Verma loves to do and you love that as well?
Just the fact that he's just who he is, right? Doesn't no, I don't love to do what he does first. I think that let's get that clear. That part. Yeah. I don't like to do what he does. Get that clear. But what I love about him is just that's him. And the beauty is I've known him for I think 20 years now of my life, and he's exactly the same man that you've known across time.
No, absolutely. What's one question you would want celebs on your talk show to answer honestly, but you wouldn't want to answer that question if asked to you?
I answer everything. Yeah, that's my vibe. I don't have too
Yes, you
much
do.
of I
Yes,
don't have too much
yes,
of a problem there.
yes, yes, you do. But still, any question that you feel that the guest may have a tough time answering.
Uh, See, it's so random the questions. It'll just start getting crazier, and you will know that there is like I've asked questions like how white are your teeth and stuff like that. So I'm okay answering anything, but I think they were like, what? Did you just ask me that question? I'm like, yeah, just show me your teeth. So I did that to Bhuvan. So that's my next. So I said, show me teeth. He said, bro, is that what? You said teeth? I said, yeah, teeth. And so that's how
Okay,
random my show is.
if following people appear on your show, what question you would ask them? Prabhas. If Prabhas is there on your show, what would you ask him?
He's already on the show. You can check him out.
He,
He's part of the universe.
he's part of the universe, but what is that one question that you asked him? And
I know his answers, so I don't have anything to ask him. So I'm good.
all right, SS Rajamouli.
How are you? How are you made, rather?
All right, Shah Rukh Khan.
Wow, you are.
Wow, you are.
Yeah,
All right. Deepika Padukone.
Just wow is good.
Wow is good.
It's good.
All right.
No questions.
Okay, what would be your immediate first reaction in the following situation? If a celebrity asks you to come to your show, but you really don't want to interview him or her,
I'll still shoot.
you still should.
Yeah, I'll still shoot. I'm fun like that.
Okay. If you realize during your show that you have embarrassed the star with your question,
I'll just say I'll edit it, but I probably won't. But I've asked, but what comfort I give them is I give them the comfort to dub over. I'm like, hey, here you go. This is the clip. You want to dub over another line? so I don't have an edit problem. Then we're good. So yeah, I give them that comfort.
All right. If your wife asks you not to do any intimate scenes on screen,
she's chill like that. Yeah, she understands story and cinema quite well.
All right. If you're stuck in a lift with SS Rajamouli and Shankar,
I'll just be quiet. I'll just sit down. Like first you have to sit down and then just keep looking up and that's it.
All right. Okay. Which episode of your talk show, #1 Yari, was the most memorable for you?
Mine, the show I did with Mr. Balakrishna. I think it was the most epic show I ever did.
In what way do you think marriage has changed you as a person?
Did I change? I don't know. You should tell me, dude. I'm pretty much the same, no? What do you think?
Okay.
More responsible, I guess.
If Rana Daggubati was a brand, what would be the tagline? That's a question that you...
Dude, I have a lot of brands that I endorse.
If Rana Daggubati was a brand?
If Rana Daggubati was a brand? Well, fire up.
Fire up, okay. What is Rana Daggubati's biggest fear?
Nothing, dude.
Great, okay. Ye ya wo, either or, if you have to choose one. Hosting a talk show or hosting an award show, what is more difficult?
An award show is much more difficult. It's just hard to. I mean, it's live. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's great energy, but it's much harder than. I think live shows on stage with audiences that are big in terms of scale. I think is hardcore, and for everybody who does it so well, I think big bow to them.
Shah Rukh Khan or Salman Khan, who would be the perfect guest for your talk show?
Why do I have to choose, dude? Both of them. Let's go. Both.
All right. Rana the actor or Rana the host?
The actor for sure. Host is like the fun part of my life. Like see, the actor, what happens is you have to do serious stuff. They are content to a certain character. You have to behave like this. But here I just get to. I think I just get to be Rana only on a talk show, because the rest of it is somebody else.
Bahubali 1 or Bahubali 2, your favorite as an audience?
See, I'll tell you what, I've answered this many times. To me, both, because we shot them together, and we saw them in very differently from how everybody saw it, right? So there's a very different experience to us as opposed to, it's like, okay, this was it. So as a film, I think two for sure, two would be more fun for me as a film, because it completes such a grand story. But I can't differentiate really in my mind.
Has it ever happened that anyone has tried to literally just lure you into telling them that what will happen in Bahubali 2, and any just give out any spoilers? Has it really happened? Because people would have loved to do anything to get to know that.
Oh no! To me, I'll tell you what the fun part was, because we already shot it. We knew exactly what was going on.
Right.
For me, it was fun to hear their perspective. That's all. And then I used to make up some other story whenever I had to. So I made up so many stories I can't even remember them. Huh?
A protagonist, and antagonist. Which role do you enjoy more?
Both, man. Depends on that again. Depends completely on that story. So it's just it's the character that you enjoy. You are playing either side is cool for me.
Rajnikant sir or Kamal Haasan sir, your favorite?
Wow. Is your right eye or left eye your favorite? Go answer this. Huh?
So you're not going to answer that. All right.
No chance. No chance. Like both of them too much.
Yes or no? Has any interviewer ever pissed you off?
Yeah, lots, man. But it's easier now. It's easier now on Zoom, so I can just do this and it's gone. Right?
Have you ever been proposed by a co-actress?
No.
Have you ever stalked your ex on social media?
No, not really.
No, not really. All right.